So continuing with states of matter, today I am taking another physical state of matter, that is liquid state. Before coming to the properties of liquids, let me just distinguish between gases and liquids. Now see, these are, suppose this is a container, this is another container. Here we have gas molecules, these are gas molecules, and these are liquid molecules. Now, what is liquid as compared to gases? And suppose this is a solid here. This is a solid. These are the particles of solid. Let us know what liquids are. Now, liquid are intermediate. Liquid is an intermediate state of matter between gas and solid. Why intermediate? Intermediate means it between these two. What is what special things are there in liquid that makes it intermediate class of matter? Now see here. In case of gases, what we find, the intermolecular distances are very large, and in solids the interparticle distances are very small. But when we see at liquids, in liquids the interparticle distances are closer as compared to gases, but loose arrangement of particles as compared to solid. That is why it is intermediate class of matter. Similarly, here the interactive forces between these particles, between the molecules, are very weak, and here the these forces are very strong. That is why these particles are very close to each other. But what we find in liquids, the interparticle, these forces, they should be intermediate between these two. That is, they should be stronger. The interparticle, these forces, they should be stronger as compared to gases and weaker as compared to gases. Now similarly, these liquids, they don't have shape of their own. They don't have shape of their own. We can't say that a liquid is cuboidal, a liquid is cubical. It depends upon the container in which the liquid is kept. So they take the shape of the container. As far as their volume is concerned, liquids do have volume. They have definite volume. So these are some common properties of liquids. Now we have a model for these liquids. That model is known as kinetic molecular model. Kinetic molecular model of liquids. This is a model that was given by various scientists in collaboration with each other. They gave certain points regarding liquids. For example, what they said? They said that all liquids, they are made up of very small particles known as molecules, more or less like a gas. The constituent particles of gas were called molecules. And what about the constituent particles of liquids? The constituent particles of liquids are also known as molecules. So according to this model, according to kinetic molecular model of liquids, all particles of liquids are very minute particles known as molecules. Now, according to this model of these liquids, the particles, they constantly move. They move constantly and continuously at random. Their motion is at random. At random means again zigzag. They don't have a motion which is in a particular direction. They don't have a unidirectional motion. Their direction, their movement is multi-directional. They can move in any direction. So they move constantly. Their motion is at random. This is about their motion according to the kinetic molecular theory of gases. Now coming to the cohesive forces between the particles. By cohesive forces, I mean interactive forces. As far as I just told you that in case of liquids, the interactive forces are stronger as compared to that of gases and weaker as compared to that of solids. And these interactive forces in liquid molecules are known as cohesive forces. So according to this model, there are cohesive forces that operate between the molecules of a liquid. Now coming to the energy of the molecules of liquid. What energy the particles, the molecules of a liquid possess? As far as their energy is concerned, different molecules of gas, suppose if this is liquid in it, these are the molecules of a liquid, particular liquid, these have different kinetic energy. They cannot have uniform kinetic energy. However, their average kinetic energy is directly proportional to absolute temperature. What does it mean? That the kinetic energy, rather average kinetic energy of these liquid molecules, that is directly proportional to temperature, means if temperature is increased, the average kinetic energy will also increase, and vice versa. That means if there is decrease in temperature, the kinetic energy will also decrease. So average kinetic energy of the molecules of a liquid is directly proportional to temperature, as it was the case in gases also. So these are some important points of kinetic molecular model of liquid. Now let us come to some characteristic properties of liquids. Say, for example, I have a property known as diffusion. Now what is diffusion? Before discussing this property, we should know what diffusion is. Diffusion basically means intermixing. This property was also a characteristic property of gases. Gases have high rates of diffusion, but as far as liquids are concerned, they do show this property, that is diffusion. Diffusion means intermixing. So they possess this characteristic property. Liquids can diffuse among themselves, but their rates of diffusion, they are not as fast as gases. In gases, the rate of diffusion was very fast, but as far our liquids are concerned, here the rate is a bit slower rather than that of gases. Now for example, in case of diffusion, let me take an example. Suppose I take two miscible liquids, say water and glycerol. These are two miscible liquids. What are miscible liquids? Miscible liquids are those liquids, if we mix them, they get intermixed. They diffuse quite easily. When water is mixed with glycerol, what happens? In the beginning, a boundary is formed between those two. But with the passage of time, that boundary disappears, and finally glycerol and water, they get intermixed. That is, they undergo diffusion. So this is about miscible liquids. But as far as immiscible liquids are concerned, for example, kerosene and water, these are immiscible liquids. When they are mixed, what happens to them? They form a boundary, and the kerosene, being heavier than water, forms the upper layer. Kerosene forms the upper layer and water forms the lower layer, and in between there is a fine line of boundary, fine boundary between the kerosene and the water. So this was diffusion. So diffusion is a characteristic property of all liquids. Now liquids show slow rate of diffusion. Then we have evaporation. This is also a characteristic property of these liquids. Now what is evaporation? Evaporation means change of liquid. So this is liquid. If it changes into vapor state, this is called evaporation. And basically evaporation is a continuous process. For example, we have different water bodies. We have sea, we have rivers, we have lakes. The water in these water bodies continuously evaporate, irrespective of the temperature, irrespective of whether it is day or night. That means our evaporation is a continuous process. But now we have some liquids in which the rate of evaporation is very fast. For example, ether. Ether is a liquid. Then alcohol. These are some liquids. If they are kept in a bottle and if their lid is kept open, what happens? They get evaporated within no time. That is why they evaporate so rapidly, because their rates of evaporation are very fast. Then we have water. Water also evaporates, but its rate of evaporation is a bit slow. So it is all because of this. It is all because of kinetic energy. Because I just told you that kinetic energy of the molecules is directly proportional to temperature. Higher the temperature, higher will be the kinetic energy of the molecules, and higher will be the rate of evaporation. If temperature is kept low, what will happen? What will happen to the kinetic energy? Kinetic energy will become weaker, that will become low, and when kinetic energy gets low, there will be slow rate of evaporation. So evaporation depends upon temperature also. Then we have another characteristic property of liquids, that is vapor pressure. Now what is vapor pressure? Let me take an example first, and then we will come to the definition of vapor pressure. Suppose I have a container here and I have kept water in it. Then this container is closed. Suppose I close it. It is a closed container. It is a lid, airtight lid. Now what happens? Suppose we heat it. Just see. What will happen on heating? Water will begin to evaporate and change into vapor state. It will change into vapor state like this on heating. These water vapors, since the lid is closed, they will not evaporate out of this vessel. What will happen to this? They will strike, they will collide with this lid. And when they collide with this, they get condensed. Condensed means those vapors will change into water again. This is called condensation. So what happens in closed vessel? First evaporation takes place. Evaporation means change of liquid into vapor, and then when vapors strike with this container, with the walls, with the lid, with the inner side of the lid, what happens to vapors? They condense, they change into liquid. Now this process continues for some time, and ultimately a stage is reached when the rate of evaporation becomes equal to the rate of condensation. This stage, when this stage is reached, this stage is known as dynamic equilibrium. So at this stage, that is at dynamic equilibrium stage, the pressure exerted by these, what are these? These are vapors. The pressure exerted by vapors when they are in equilibrium with what? With the liquid state. So at that very point of time, the pressure exerted by vapors is known as vapor pressure. So what is vapor pressure now? Vapor pressure is the pressure, as the name suggests, exerted by whom? Exerted by vapors, because it is vapor pressure. Pressure exerted by vapors. When it is, that means your vapors in equilibrium state. It is in equilibrium state, in dynamic equilibrium state. With which state? With liquid state. At that very point of time, the pressure exerted by vapors is known as vapor pressure. So this was vapor pressure. Now coming to boiling point. Now boiling point in common language is the temperature at which a liquid boils. But scientifically, when a liquid boils when vapor pressure of that liquid becomes equal to atmospheric pressure. That means if we have a container, we have a liquid in it, we heat it, suppose this is water. We all know that the boiling point of water is 100 degrees C. The question is, what happens at 100 degrees C? Why water begins to boil at 100 degrees C? At 100 degrees centigrade, what happens? The vapor pressure of water, that becomes equal to atmospheric pressure. And when this stage is achieved, when vapor pressure of this water becomes equal to atmospheric pressure, this stage is reached at 100 degrees centigrade. That is why at this temperature our water begins to boil, and that is called the boiling point of that liquid. So different liquids have different boiling points. Similarly, we have one special characteristic property of liquids, that is surface tension. Suppose I have a beaker here. These are molecules of liquid. Let me take a molecule within the body. Say this is the molecule within the body. And then I will take one molecule at the surface. This is surface. One molecule within the body and one at. Now just see the molecule which is within the body. Now this molecule is attracted by this molecule. This molecule is also attracted by this molecule, then attracted by this molecule, then attracted by this molecule. That means this molecule is surrounded by various molecules which attract it. So what will be the net result? Net result will be that it will remain there. No change will be seen, will be observed by this molecule which is within the body. But now if we talk of this molecule, now its surrounding molecule is this will attract it to this side, this will attract it to this side, this will attract it to downwards, but it will not be attracted upwards. Why? Because there is no molecule over the surface. So what will happen to this molecule? These molecules, not only this, all the molecules at the surface, they will be pulled downwards. So that force, that process, that force with which these molecules are being pulled downwards is known as surface tension. So surface tension is experienced only by which molecules? Those molecules which are at the surface. So this is another characteristic property of liquids. And then one more is viscosity. Viscosity is another characteristic property of liquids. It is basically the resistance to the flow of liquid. What does this mean? This means we know that most of the liquids flow. Now if some resistance is shown to its flow, that will be known as viscosity. For example, take me an example. We have oil, say mustard oil. Then we have water, both are liquids. Now we know water can flow quite easily, so can your oil. but oil cannot flow as easily as water. Why? Because it has viscosity. It has higher viscosity, because oil shows resistance to the flow. So if a liquid shows resistance to the flow, that property is known as viscosity. Similarly, we have one more liquid, say honey. It has higher viscosity than water, higher viscosity than oil. That is why it shows resistance to the flow of current. And it is all for today. Thank you very much.